Welcome. My name is Alice Foy. I am the team operations strategist here at the Digital Chain. This week, I am talking about breaking down silos within your team and what silos are, what that means, and how it really does impact the work of a small team. Now, in larger corporations, the bigger companies, think of like Nikes and the Googles and those kind of companies. It's common for silos to exist, for departments to have very specific ways of doing things, their own meeting. Like, yeah, they work for the corporation, but they also are kind of like a branch off company of their own because of how big the company is, right? That's common. I want to let you know that not all silos are like bad things, right? There are some ways that it can benefit a very large team into segment off into departments or branches and divisions and that kind of thing so that they can do focused work together. So, first of all, not all silos are bad. But when it comes to a small business and a small team that is still either contractors or employees reporting directly to the founder or the CEO, it is hard to make things really move and make them really cohesive when people are working in silos. And from my experience supporting founders and, teams for the last 5 or 6 years, normally they form unintentionally just because the leader isn't yet used to having people working with them. That's when I see it the most. So you end up maybe contracting people. They could even be long-term contractors. And you're just like, they're all kind of directly reporting to you. And here's a visual of what that looks like, where you have a bunch of people that you have hired. In this example, I have an operations manager, I have a graphic designer, and I have a social media manager. And all of these people, all three, are reporting directly to me. So all their updates is coming from me, all the approvals. But we can look at these roles and see that there's probably some overlap, right? So why would I not position this team to work together in support of each other and to also lighten the load for me? Because one of the things that I notice is that when you don't clarify how everyone's working together, all of these people are working for the same company, but in their own little bubbles. They don't know what's going on in any of the other things, right? You want to make sure that as you are hiring, you are preparing people and you have the resources also to prepare them to work together. And in so many ways, that individualism that comes from just being like, this is all I'm responsible for. I don't know what happens to it after I send over the social media calendar. I don't know what the graphic designer does with it. I just know I look on Instagram and then we have some graphics. So I guess it works out, right? We have to think bigger than just our part, because as a team, we are supposed to be working together. As a team, I want to understand this process from start to finish so I know when to tap for help, to know how it all connects, to know if there's a way to do it better, to know how to support my other team members. And if we're so focused on the work that we're doing, it doesn't really position us to be in support of others, right? And so one of the things that I shared in this example is what it could look like to properly position your team to work together on shared processes, right? So in this newsletter, I have a client. Her name is Denise. She owns this Alexander Street Project nonprofit organization. And she basically hired these 3 people. She got the budget to hire longer term. So they're all on for 6 to 8 months. And she's still kind of just doing all the things. They're not working together yet. They're all reporting directly to her. They know that there are others on the team, but they don't really know anything else other than that. So here's how I repositioned the team to work together. You see the operations manager now in position to support her, right? To act as that extra, not a catch-all, but just that extra buffer but between her and the other team members, because they have a management level role. So taking someone from not being properly positioned to be second in a leadership role, to having that now in place is going to make a huge difference for Denise, right? Next, I basically positioned it so that, yes, she's still in communication with them, but the operations manager is the overseer now of the process. She's the overseer of this social media calendar. She is now hosting her own, like, she organized a social media meeting so she can meet with the graphic designer and with the social media manager. And that is one of the ways that it kind of gives Denise the opportunity to have some involvement, but also a clear division of how much she's involved in the process. She's not on this weekly meeting. She's not on the weekly. And that allows the operations manager also to have some ownership, to share updates with Denise when needed, but also for the social media and the graphic designer to be supported. So if you enjoy this, I definitely suggest reading the newsletter attached. When we're breaking down these silos, you have to make sure that you are thinking through the ways in which your team is supposed to be collaborating, what they actually need in order to have this collaboration. So if it's a shared Slack channel, if it is a weekly meeting, a touch base, if it is documented, a workflow on how all of the work is supposed to flow together based on how they're doing it currently, and bringing it all together into everyone's information, into like accessible information. These are the things you want to think about as you are starting to prepare your team to work beyond you, and stop being that like bottleneck in between. So if you enjoyed this newsletter, I definitely welcome you to read all of the archived newsletters on the Digital Corner. You can find those on LinkedIn. And as always, my name is Alice Foy. I'm the Team Operations Strategist here at the Digital Jane, and we help teams to have better work days together. Until next time.